All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Western Association of College Admissions Counseling College Fair. We are so glad that you are joining us this evening. My name is James, and I'll be facilitating this session. Just a few housekeeping items before we dive in and hear from some of our outstanding institutions that are joining us. You are welcome to ask questions throughout the presentation. One thing that I would encourage you to do is direct those questions to the specific institutions that you're wanting to hear from. If you want everybody to answer it, that's fine. But otherwise, you might be best served just to indicate what specific school you would like to hear an answer from. Your camera and microphone are off, so we cannot see or hear you. So the primary way to communicate with us during this session is going to be through that Q&A feature. There are a lot of institutions joining us this evening and on future fairs as well. So please sign up to attend additional sessions so that you can get as much information as possible. And then once this session ends and the evening is wrapped up, you will have access to a recording of the different presentations, typically within about 1 week. So thank you again for joining us. Without further ado, I am going to turn it over to McGill University.
All right, so hopefully people can see my screen and can hear me. If not, James, please let me know. Thank you for joining us this evening. I am the first up on speed dating for Canadian universities. Looking forward to this. So a little bit about McGill University. So really what I'm hoping you're doing in all of these events is just looking for the right fit for yourself. That's the most important thing when it comes to the undergraduate experience. And McGill might be that fit for you. It's important to know what programs you're interested in, knowing that we can offer them to you, whether it's maybe more of a multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary type of degree. McGill can open those doors. And of course, one thing that we're very proud of is with our long history is our alumni association. So a lot of students come into McGill, come through Montreal, they do very well, and then they go off and find their occupation, they find jobs anywhere else. Maybe they return home back in the US, maybe they go off to Europe, Asia, whatever it may be. We have alumni associations everywhere, and it's a great way to get connected and to find jobs, which is really the big important thing. In terms of finding the right fit, let's be honest, the weather will be different, but do not let that scare you. We have activities and events, in the normal year during the winter season, and we're happy to, get you out and have you get involved in the city. It's a very student-friendly city, Montreal, and McGill wants you to experience that. And so, of course, it's a great opportunity to interact with other students, other young adults, as well as embrace and enjoy the experience outside of the classroom as well. Just to let you know, we do have 2 campuses, and I will talk about them very briefly, but you can travel back and forth. But it is important to know, depending on what you want to study, that's where you will spend most of your time. And for yourself, or maybe more for your parents, Montreal is a bit of a hub city when it comes to transportation. You're close to other major markets, as well as not too far via flights with an international airport. So it's not too bad getting back and forth wherever you may be coming from. Our downtown campus, if you've never been, it's a great building, great buildings, great campus with really the only green space in the downtown area, which is a great opportunity for our students. We're sort of blocked off by a big mountain behind us. It's a combination of old and new buildings, Google-like classrooms, but also buildings that represent the 200-year history that we have. Most of our students will spend your time here. As you can see the number there, this includes grad and undergrad students. So depending on your interests, you will really spend most of your time at the downtown campus. And just to sort of give you an idea of this very, McGill bubble-like aspect of the campus, it's gated. As you can see, the green space that's there. In the winter, it's more of an ice rink and is open to students. If you want to embrace the Montreal downtown city, you don't have to go far. You're right there. But if you want to stay close and interact more with students, it's very easy to do. Because they're all around, they live around all of these red lines. That's where residences mostly are. And so it's really this nice way of getting away from the bustling downtown core, even though you are right there. The other campus is our McDonald campus, and this houses our agricultural and environmental science programs. So a lot of hands-on practical experience in terms of getting ready for careers in those fields. If this is something that interests you, if you're interested in being a nutritionist, dietitian, if you're interested in the environment and more of the practical way of preserving it, for example, this is a great campus. It's much smaller, so you get to really know everybody really quickly, and people really enjoy the experience if this is what you are into. And as I kind of mentioned, based on your interest is where you will spend most of your time. So you can see a lot of our major faculties, arts, engineering, management, science, for example, they're all downtown. So I can guess that maybe most of you are going to be interested in those general areas. One thing that I like to highlight is that, when you are applying to McGill, it is really based on your high school grades. It's based on your prerequisites, if you've done the right courses. So if you're thinking of sciences or engineering, where math and sciences are really important. But one thing that some people don't necessarily know is that we have a lot of really interesting programs that are offered in different faculties. So our Faculty of Arts, which doesn't have very many specific prerequisites for you, is a great opportunity to still study some of this material if this is what interests you. I'm looking more at computer science or psychology, for example, or maybe other places. And even within McGill, you have to have a science background to study in certain capacities, but in a very other situation, you don't have to have that background and still can study this material. So it's a great way of having sort of this, backdoor entrance to study a material that maybe you haven't prepared for fully during your high school tenure. In terms of just dates, just to get an idea of the McGill application, and I'll go through this quickly. Those dates don't really change, if ever. So January 15th is the key deadline to note for all students coming from a US high school. It's not about your citizenship status. It's really about where you're coming from, the school itself. We have scholarships, we have financial aid, all for international students. So you are definitely encouraged to apply for them. Before being admitted and after being admitted, of course, for the financial aid. So those are applicable to you. We do look for the government aid as well. In terms of the application, it might be the easiest thing you ever do. It's about 15 to 20 minutes max directly on McGill's website. It's all online. And for most of the programs, we really are just focused on grades. There are some exceptions, of course. If you're looking to go into music, we want to know that you can play an instrument, architecture, that you have some artistic interests. But generally speaking, it is really just the grades, and we'll take a closer look at prerequisites when they are needed. And you can take a look at our website for those type of grades from last year's cutoffs. In terms of anything else, we're not looking for essays, we're not looking for interviews, except for in a few exceptions. So generally speaking, a pretty simple application that's just grades based. And last but not least, if you do want to just visualize yourself on campus, we do have our virtual campus tour. It's on uvisit.com. You can definitely take a look at both of our campuses there. So on that note, thank you, and please feel free to send some questions my way.
Thank you so much. And just as a reminder for everybody that is attending this, please utilize the Q&A function in order to ask questions. And if you are wanting to hear from a specific institution, you can address that to them specifically. So at this time, moving right along, we are going to now hear from Brock University.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to assume that you can see my screen and hear me. If not, James, please say something. So hi, everyone, and thank you for being here tonight. My name is Karen Dancy, and I'm an International Recruitment Officer with Brock University and your regional representative. I'm also a proud two-time alumna of Brock, so I'm always happy to speak further about the student experience. I'm also going to put my email inbox in the chat if you do want to connect following tonight's presentation. So Brock University is a public mid-sized Canadian university with just over 19,000 students and more than 100 different program options across 7 different faculties. 13% of our student body are from outside of Canada. And while Brock may have the resources and benefits of a little bit of a larger school, we do still operate on the seminar system, which allows students to benefit from smaller class sizes in their tutorials, seminars, and labs, which have less than 24 students. So here's a map of Canada. You can find Brock in Southern Ontario, close to the New York border, and only about a 20-minute drive from the Niagara Falls. Brock's campus is located in the city of St. Catharines, which has about 160,000 residents and is ranked one of the safest and warmest cities in Canada. So you can see a closer snapshot of our location on the right-hand side of the screen. So as I said, we're just about 20 minutes from the Niagara Falls, we're 30 minutes from Buffalo, New York, and a 60-minute drive from Toronto, Ontario. You'll be hearing more about the many benefits of studying in Canada from the other presenters tonight, but I did want to point out a few things. So all of our degrees are accepted worldwide, including back in the US, should you want to return for work or graduate studies. We are also an affordable option for high quality education. So Brock's tuition is around $20,000 US per year, and we do accept FAFSA if you qualify. You are also able to work as an international student in Canada while you study. So we did ask all of our international students why they chose Brock out of all of the many options. And as you can see, the top 5 reasons are on the screen. So Brock does offer a safe and affordable option. In comparison to Toronto, a 1-bedroom apartment is 67% less expensive. So if you calculate that over the span of a 4-year degree, that's quite a lot of money that you'll be saving in your pocket. As I mentioned earlier, Brock is a larger university with the benefits of a smaller school. We do offer personalized international student support, so you are able to take part in transitional and ongoing academic, language, and social programming. We have also been ranked #1 in all of Canada for our mental health support services, something that we're very proud of, and #2 for overall student satisfaction. So we do put a lot of effort and resources into our student services to ensure that you are equipped to succeed. We also offer experiential education in 100% of our programs. So this can range from field courses to global internships to paid co-op work terms, and is one of the reasons why Brock graduates do enjoy one of the highest postgraduate employment rates in Canada, with 96.5% finding work after graduating. Brock also offers 2 Program Plus enhanced degree offerings for students interested in later pursuing a career in medicine or law. So that is our Law Plus and our Med Plus programs. I do want to briefly speak about our admissions process, as it is very different than the US. So first off, we will never require the SAT or ACT. We also do not require references or personal essays for most undergraduate programs. These are typically only required if you decide to apply to select optional scholarships. Undergraduate admissions is primarily based on your academic average. So we do offer guaranteed entrance scholarships to students with the equivalent of an A- average or higher. And at Brock, we do rolling admissions, and we're currently accepting applications for September 2021 for most programs. You are able to apply directly on our website at brocku.ca. We also do offer start dates in January and May of each year for most programs. All of our program requirements are transparently listed on each program website that can be accessed at brocku.ca/programs, and I'll put the link in the chat box as well. So as you can see, all of our programs are on the screen. Unfortunately, within the span of 6 minutes, I don't have enough time to go through all of them, but very quickly, we do have our Faculty of Applied Health Sciences, our Faculty of Education, our Goodman School of Business, our Faculty of Humanities, including the Marilyn I. Walker School of Fine and Performing Arts, then our Faculty of Mathematics and Science, and then lastly, where I'm from, our Faculty of Social Sciences. Any program that does have the blue box beside it on the screen does mean that it is an official co-op program. And then lastly, just to give you a little bit more information about co-op. So Brock offers 40 co-op programs. So co-op is the opportunity to get paid work experience during your studies. Over the span of your undergraduate degree, you will be able to accumulate 12 months of relevant work experience. So typically students do complete 3 work terms of 4 months each throughout a 4-year undergraduate program. So co-op is a great way to not only make money, but also network in the field in which you want to eventually work in and build up your references, and then of course gain work experience. So it's kind of like a win-win-win. And then lastly, I did want to just mention, I find that some of the best ways to get to know a campus or a community is to check us out on social media. So we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Brock University, or our international page is at BrockU, INTL. And then if you did have any follow-up questions following the presentation, I encourage you to send me an email. So my email is kdancy@brocku.ca. You can also scan the QR code that's on the screen, and that'll bring you to a page where you can book a one-on-one call with me as well. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Great. Thank you so much to Brock University. And again, participants this evening, please feel free to send in any questions through the Q&A, and also monitor the chat function as well, because our representatives will be following up with their contact information. So at this time, we are now going to hear from the University of Toronto.
Great. Great, thank you so much. And thanks everyone for joining us here tonight. My name is Lydia Palmer and I'm a recruitment officer at the University of Toronto. And I'm also joined by my colleague, Courtney Villeneuve, who is responding to your questions in the Q&A. So I know we only have about 6 minutes and we'll be exploring 3 key points about the University of Toronto, highlighting that not only are we Canada's leading university, but we're also a network of unique communities right at the heart of a dynamic, diverse, cosmopolitan region. And best of all, U of T students can mix and match programs and experiences to build truly personalized degrees. So I know, again, we only have a few minutes, so we'll go ahead and get started by talking about the research that we have at the University of Toronto, because we really do have an incredible reputation for our academics, our faculty, and our research. We were founded in 1827, and our faculty, alumni, and students are leaders in discovery and innovation. In fact, more research-based startups have come out of U of T than any other university in North America. And U of T is second in worldwide volume of published research in the sciences. A lot of people know that insulin was discovered at U of T, but did you also know that stem cell research started here too? And we've also produced Oscar winners, including Olympic champions, prime ministers, Nobel laureates, and best-selling authors like Margaret Atwood and Malcolm Gladwell, who's one of my personal favorites. So that second takeaway is that U of T is a network of unique communities in the heart of one of the most dynamic regions in the world. When you live in Toronto, you live just steps from hundreds of vibrant communities and neighborhoods, each with its own distinct character and flavor. The BBC once ranked us the world's most diverse city. And while there are a lot of contenders for sure, we are definitely up there. And I can speak to that. I've lived in lots of cities, so Toronto's a great place to be. In fact, half of Toronto's population was born outside of Canada and speaks languages other than English. So overall, Toronto is a city that is safe, it's clean, and it has something for everyone. So we are Canada's largest university. And even though we are the largest university, each student at U of T is part of a smaller community where you can feel at home. One of the layers of community you'll find at U of T are our campuses. And all 3 of our campuses are located within 1 hour of each other in downtown Toronto and the Greater Toronto area. They offer the same high quality of education, and they're all self-contained, offering our students everything that they need from academic support to student life. And when you graduate, you're earning a U of T degree regardless of which campus you choose. And each campus offers different environments with unique features, and the size and location vary. So it's really important to us that every U of T student has not just a home base, but a team to support you and to cheer you on. We truly want you to be happy and to reach your full potential. And that's why each of our campuses is home to a huge range of services. Your professors and your teaching assistants will also offer weekly office hours to work with you one-on-one. And U of T students take full advantage of these services, so much so that 91% of first-year students move on to second year. So that third takeaway that I mentioned that I want to talk a little bit more about is the ability for a U of T student to mix and match programs to really personalize and build their degree. And with over 700 program options, there are no shortage of opportunities. At U of T, many programs are available on all 3 campuses, allowing students the option to choose in which environment they want to study. Other programs, however, are unique to a campus. So here are some examples. Our St. George campus offers 50 different languages in the arts. Forensic science is at Mississauga, and journalism is at our Scarborough campus. And at the St. George campus, we have the largest and highest ranked faculty of engineering in Canada, with 8 core programs you can apply to directly from high school, like computer, civil, mechanical, and more. We also have an undecided first year called Track 1, if you're not sure yet which part of engineering you want to go into. And also we offer engineering science, which is an enriched program where students spend their first 2 years in high-level multidisciplinary engineering courses. The 3 remaining communities are the smallest at U of T. And again, they're unique to the St. George campus, offering architectural and visual studies, kinesiology, which is the study of human movement, and music. And you can also customize your degree through your co-curricular record, which is a great way to apply what you learn in class to the real world. We offer paid work placements through our co-op and professional experience year co-op programs, as well as a research opportunity program. We have formal exchange programs with over 140 partner institutions in more than 40 countries. And as Canada's largest university, you can get involved with any of 1,000 student clubs, our 44 varsity blues teams, or our intramural sports programs. So it being part of a world-class university with unique communities and the opportunity to personalize your university degree sounds great. How exactly do we get you there? Here's a timeline that can help you visualize this process. And we encourage students to submit their initial application by early November, which gives you plenty of time to submit your required documents, complete a self-reported grades form, and any other supplemental applications that may be required. Admission decisions are generally released beginning early in the new year and throughout the spring. And we're also very pleased to be able to offer a range of scholarships and awards varying in value for international students. And you can check out more about our scholarships and awards on our awardexplorer.utoronto.ca website, including information on our full ride scholarship for international students, the Lester B. Pearson Scholarship. So again, I know this was just a quick 6-minute session, so I highly recommend checking us out on our discover.utoronto.ca website for more webcasts, videos, and opportunities to connect with us and our current students. Thanks so much.
Fantastic, and thank you to the University of Toronto for joining us. Again, for anybody with questions, please utilize the Q&A feature. It's very exciting to see that some questions are starting to come through. Moving right along, we are going to now turn it over to Carleton University. We can see your screen. We just
all right. Sorry about that. I just having a couple technical difficulties this morning or this evening. You guys can all see that screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So hi, everyone. My name is Stanley Philippe. I'm a recruitment officer here at Carleton University. Just want to start by sharing a quick little story. I was looking at the calendar, and this time last year, I was actually in Los Angeles on the trip, which happens to be the very last trip I took before COVID-19 became what it has become. So I'm thinking back with some fond memories of my time on the West Coast, and of course, thinking of everyone who is going through this pandemic, hoping that everyone is staying as safe as possible. Carleton University is located in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, the nation's capital. And one of the things that we like to do when we have presentations is to start by acknowledging where our campus is located. So we are located on the unceded territories, traditional unceded territories of the Algonquin Nation. And a lot of things have happened over the last year at Carleton, and one of which is really thinking about what that means, what it means to be located on the traditional unceded territories. How can we represent communities better? And how can we provide more space for these communities to grow and to connect? And that's led to a lot of different things at Carleton, including Kinamagwin, which is a new call to action, 41 calls to really understand our Indigenous communities, both on campus in Ottawa and around the country, and finding ways, again, to create a more open, welcoming space for those communities. So that's something that we really want to kind of use to frame what Carleton is all about. It's all about community building and allowing you the opportunity to understand your place in a local, national, and international society. We're also all about our campus. We have a beautiful self-contained campus. We're surrounded by 2 bodies of water, the Rideau River and the Rideau Canal. The canal is on the left of your screen. It becomes the largest skating rink in the world during the winter. So you might not be a big fan of the cold weather, but you will be a fan of skating right to Parliament Hill, our federal buildings, which are located in the downtown core. So beautiful sight to see. Even if you're bad on skates like I am, you can still have a lot of fun skating to and from class. Now I mentioned the weather, and one of the really neat things that you won't see on this shot of our campus are our tunnels. So we do have tunnels that will connect every single building on our campus. We are conscious of the fact that not everyone loves that first snowfall. Not everyone loves having to deal with the sunshine when it's sunny outside. And so the campus is connected again above and underground. That also allows our campus to be 100% accessible for all of our students, which is really important to us. And that's something that we're very proud to be able to say. Now, when you're thinking about Carleton University, what makes up our identity, our campus, well, we got to think of research opportunities and the programs that really are the backbone of our university. You got to think about the ways that we support our students financially through entrance scholarships, through awards, and through bursaries. You got to think about the CAF and the food that's available in residence. If you are moving from the States, you'll most likely want to live on campus, and residence is guaranteed for all first-year students, and the CAF is guaranteed to give you something to think about from a culinary perspective. You got to think about the school spirit, and we're very proud to be Ravens. And of course, you must think about our legendary CU Therapy Dogs. And I encourage you to give them a follow on Instagram at CU Therapy Dogs to see the cute and furry friends that make up a key part of our campus and our community. Okay, so some new initiatives we've come up with since the beginning of the pandemic include our Live at 5. So every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to feature a different topic of interest to you. And so you can hop on to our admissions website to find a link to our events page and join us during those conversations. A lot of really great topics, including scholarships, residence, how to connect your degree to your careers, and so on. We have our Future Raven coffee breaks. You get a chance to chat with one of our representatives on a one-on-one basis. So again, just drop us a line, admissions@carleton.ca, and I'll include all the information, the contact info in the chat. And so you can get a chance to talk with us one-on-one about your specific application. And then a shameless plug, yes, that's me on the screen, the Talking Raven podcast. We launched a podcast in September. It's been really a lot of fun to talk to some key members of our community, including our president, who made a really cool appearance on one of our episodes. So check out the Talking Raven podcast on any, wherever you get your podcasts, so Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so on. So there's just a few of the different things we've done over the last few months. Now I'm going to quickly show you our different faculties. We have 5 faculties to choose from. They include our arts and social sciences, our faculty of public affairs, our faculty of engineering and design, our faculty of science, and the Sprott School of Business, which is going to be home to a brand new building on our campus called the Nickel Building, which will be opening in the fall of 2021. So really excited about that new location for our business students. Now, one of our really cool sites that you're going to want to check out is 360.carleton.ca. When you go onto that site, you're able to really customize your experience with us to learn more about the events that we're holding, the programs that we're offering, the scholarship money that's available, and really the experience we want to cultivate for you both inside and outside of the classroom. And on top of that, you get a chance to request us to mail you a view book. And the view book really is the key to your research. So we really want you to get your hands on one of those awesome view books as soon as possible. So definitely check out 360.carleton.ca. And while you're perusing the websites that are the internet, check out admissions.carleton.ca as well. Like I mentioned, this is a great site to learn more about how you can get into Carleton, what are the requirements that we're looking for our students who are studying in the States, as well as some of the specific prerequisite courses for the programs that you might be considering. And if you are a fan of social media, we are on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. You'll see our handles there. So definitely tune into what's happening throughout our social media platforms. So thank you for your patience and thank you for listening. I will put my contact information in the chat and look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much to Carleton University. And thank you to those of you that have been utilizing the Q&A function. We do have 2 more institutions to hear from. So without any further ado, I'm now going to turn it over to Bishop's University.
Thank you very much. So I just want to begin by introducing myself. My name is Kelly. I'm a recruitment officer for Bishop's University. But I also was a student. I actually graduated right at the beginning of the pandemic this past June. So I have the experience of both a recruiter, but also a very recent graduate. So if you have any questions about what it was like being a student during a pandemic and what you might expect, going into fall 2021, definitely reach out to me later. I will put my email in the chat. But first I will begin with talking a little bit about Bishop's University. So we are a much smaller school than the last ones that just spoke, just under 3,000 students. So it's a very different experience, very personalized, and I would say almost customizable experience. So we have a great student to faculty ratio, 19:1, and we actually don't even have any teaching assistants. So any class you take at Bishop's will be taught to you by your professor. So it's a great way to develop a very personal academic relationship with your professors. And I can say firsthand, our professors really care about their students and they want to see their students succeed academically, and they will help you through your career, or your university career, I should say, at Bishop's. Also, as you can see, our campus here, very beautiful, very large, but also very centralized. So we do have 500 acres of land, but everything is pretty much walking distance. You can see here on the screen. So all of our academic buildings are connected indoors as well. So for those cold Quebec winters, you don't want to have to go outside. Our residences are just back here. So everything is, I mean, I'm a little bit short, so it takes me about 10 minutes to get from one side of the campus to another, but it could take the average person about 7 minutes. And what's great is that even if you don't live on campus, 97% of our students live within walking distance. So we have a student village very close by, very affordable housing, and 29% of our students are international students, representing over 30 states in the US and 80 countries around the world. So I'm going to talk a little bit about where we're located. So I know that, we were in Ontario, we talked to some schools in Montreal. So we are also in Quebec, just a little bit further, about an hour and a half from Montreal, in the city of Sherbrooke. So not a huge city, just under 200,000 population. But what I love about that, coming from Montreal myself, is that it's the perfect mix of urban and rural. So if you love the big city feel, Sherbrooke has all of the amenities, movie theaters, malls, restaurants, bars, and Montreal makes for the perfect weekend getaway. But I also really like the fact that we're so close to all of these different bike paths, 8 different ski hills on campus as well. We have cross-country skiing, we have walking paths. So it's really, like I said, the perfect mix of the urban and rural, to facilitate a more relaxing environment to study. And as you can see on the map, we're just at the Vermont border. So if you have any family in any of the New England states, it's about a 40-minute drive, so a really quick trip. And then I'll just continue on to a few numbers I like to point out. Being a small school, we do have an average class size of about 38. So it does depend what year you're coming into, what program you're going into, but 38 is pretty average representation. So you really do get that one-on-one with your professor, and you get to know the students in your class very well. Another number I like to point out is that we have over 500 universities that we have a partnership with if you're looking to do an exchange while you're studying abroad in Canada. And what's cool about that program is that you continue paying the same tuition that you would be paying at Bishop's, but you could be studying in France or England. Obviously with COVID, a bit different right now, but hopefully by the end of your university career, it won't be as big a thing. And then to talk a little bit about our academics. So we are a liberal arts institution. So what that means is that you can really mix and match your degree and make it your own, make it something that you want to study, make sure it's something you're passionate about. So if you love psychology, but you also have a passion for music, why not put the two together and study what you love? So I'll talk about our faculties. We have over 100 different programs between the 5 faculties. We have our Williams School of Business, our School of Education, our social science and our humanities department, as well as our natural science and mathematics. We offer a BA, a BBA, a bachelor's of science, and a bachelor's of education. And it was mentioned earlier, but all of the degrees that you can get at any Canadian university is transferable, whether you're going to go back to the US or anywhere else around the world. To talk a little bit more about our classes and what we do. So we are very focused on experiential learning. We do of course have lectures, but we really like to bring learning outside of the classroom. So through co-ops, through different research projects as well. And we like to bring in a lot of outside, sources to come and speak to students. So as a business student, we had a lot of CEOs and a lot of companies come and talk to us and give us real life problems to solve. So it was a great way to learn the theories that you're, hearing about in class. Talk a little bit about the admission requirements. So for US students, it really is a case-by-case situation at Bishop's. Being a smaller school, we have the opportunity to really work with each student Like the other schools, we are test optional, no need for any ACT or SAT scores. We really look for the most recent grade 12 transcript. Other than that, there's a few different requirements. If you wanted to go into business, we do look for a grade 12 math. The same for any of our science programs, math class and some science. And for almost everything, also grade 12 English. And of course, a completed high school diploma. In terms of tuition, so I just want you to know everything that you see on the screen is in Canadian dollars. So to give you an idea, this 25,000 of Canadian tuition is just under 2,000 American, so it's about 19,800. This is for the average 5 classes a semester, 2 semesters a year. If you decide to stay on campus, it's about $10,000, and then for a total of $37,000. And I always like to end off that if you're just looking for, you want to get your degree, pick one of the bigger schools because Bishop's offers a really unique and personalized experience. So thank you very much, and I will hand it back over to James.
Fantastic, thank you. We are wrapping up. We have one more institution to hear from, so please make sure that you have your questions submitted so that our representatives can answer those. So last and certainly not least for this presentation, we are now going to hear from Concordia University, Montreal.
All right, hello everyone. I'm just gonna get my screen shared. So my name is Dylan, and I am the representative for Concordia in Montreal. So we do have a few schools here that are from Quebec, which is pretty exciting. And we are located right in the heart of Montreal. We do have 2 campuses. So basically what you're seeing here is you have our engineering and visual arts building, which is on our downtown campus. And then about 7 kilometers away, so about 20 minutes driving, we have our Loyola campus. We have a bunch of different ways to get there. So whether you take the metro and a bus or our shuttle bus, it's pretty easy to get between the 2. That being said though, depending on the program that you're going to be studying, you're really going to kind of be at one campus or the other. For example, I did my degree in studio arts at Concordia, so I was always on the downtown campus. It actually took me a few years before I decided that I just want to go see what the Loyola campus had to offer. Some of our programs, you might be going in between them a little bit, but it's pretty rare, and there's also enough time to get there between classes. So a little bit more about Concordia. So we are a larger school. So we have 52,000 students total, about 37,000, which are undergraduate students. So it does seem a little big, but I do guarantee that our classes are quite small. 75% of our classes are 60 students or less, and we have 1 professor for every 27 students. In your first year, you might be in a little bit of a larger class, but after that, your classes will get tiny. A lot of my classes were around 60 students. And if you're in a program like studio arts or anything in the fine arts, engineering, also things like the human sciences, like chemistry and biology, you're going to be in these like really tiny classes where you're going to have a lot of interactions with your peers and with your teachers as well. So it's a really great way to get some hands-on experience. So we have 4 major faculties at Concordia. We have our John Molson School of Business, which is all downtown, Faculty of Arts and Science, Faculty of Fine Arts, and the Giacotti School of Engineering and Computer Science. Most of these faculties are downtown. The Faculty of Arts and Science, it's all the human sciences that are over at Loyola. So anything like biology, chemistry, exercise science, those you're going to be based over at the other campus. So I do have to take a moment to talk about Montreal. Montreal is such an amazing city. I've been there for about 10 years now, but to tell you the absolute truth, I'm actually not there right now. I am currently in Austin, Texas, so I'm only a couple states away from where you are. But I do still have an apartment in Montreal. I'm still planning on going back there once COVID gets a little bit easier to manage. It really, truly is an amazing place. It is the best student city in North America and 6th overall in the world. And a lot of that just comes to like, cost of living is extremely cheap. It's a great place for people from all over the world because it offers so much to many different kinds of students. And it's just a really fun place to kind of be a young person and learning how to, achieve academia and also just learning how to live out on your own for the first time. Sometimes people think Canada's pretty far. Of course, from California, Montreal is sort of on the other side of the continent, but there are a lot of direct flights. It doesn't take too long to get back and forth. And once COVID restrictions ease up a lot, it's going to be much easier to do. So I know a lot of the other schools mention this, so I'll just quickly go over it. So all of our degrees are internationally recognized. It's very affordable tuition, and living expenses are very cheap. If you have Quebec citizenship, or sorry, not Quebec citizenship, Canadian citizenship or French citizenship, then you can get a reduced tuition price in Quebec, and I'm pretty sure that goes for all the schools that have spoken tonight. The application is very easy, about 15 to 20 minutes. And if you want to stay afterwards, you can stay in Canada for up to 3 years. So if you want to work on getting your permanent residency, you have a job that you like, you're more than welcome to stay in Canada for a little bit longer than your actual degree. So these are our general admission requirements for all of our programs. I'm not going to go through them all. You can take a screenshot if you would like, or you can send me an email afterwards. Like many of the other schools, we don't require ACTs or SATs, and these are kind of the average grades to get in. Some of our programs, like fine arts, will ask for auditions or portfolios, but send me an email and I can go over all the requirements with you. So finally, the application is done completely online. We're not on the Common App. So here's a little bit of information, how much it costs. You get to choose 3 programs in the order of preference. You upload your documents, and then basically that's the end of the application. If you want to give consent to a family member to look at your application too, and that's great. The deadline was technically February 1st, but a lot of our programs are still open for the fall 2021 semester. If you're thinking about applying, definitely look into it this week, or send me an email and I can go through some of your options, because it is possible that the programs will close at any moment because we are quite past the deadline. So to get in touch with me, this is my information. You can take a screenshot of that. I'll also put it in the chat, and also follow our all of our social media pages. There's a lot of fun stuff happening, and you'll get a really good idea of what's happening at Concordia, especially during remote learning times, but also just what student life on campus is like during normal times.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our presenters for this evening. I think we've gotten a lot of really fantastic information. If you are wanting to follow up with any specific institutions, please feel free to look through the chat, as all of our partners this evening have indicated how you can best reach them. Thank you again for everybody attending this evening, and a sincere thank you to our institutions from the nation of Canada. It's an absolute pleasure to have a great representation here for the Western Association of College Admissions Counseling Fair. Just a few housekeeping items as you are exiting. Once you close out of this window, you will be offered to complete a really quick survey just to let StriveScan know how this fair went. So please feel free to provide some feedback. That's very helpful for planning future fairs. There are additional colleges and additional sessions happening this evening, as well as other fairs hosted by the Western Association for College Admissions Counseling later on in March as well as April. So please sign up for those. That way you can get as much information as possible from the different institutions that you may be interested in. And again, these recordings will be available within about a week or so at strivescan.com/WACAC, WACAC. So again, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and have a fantastic rest of your day.